Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Namita Purohit and welcome to day one of the new year, new you. Make 2025 your best year challenge. So I'm doing this 5 day challenge with all of you, and all those who've registered for this program are also getting a lot of links and a lot of questions and things like that. They'll get the follow up questions after that. We're working together to make 2025 your breakthrough year. Yes, these next 5 days are to make 2025 your breakthrough year. It's about you achieving your goals with the right strategies, with the right methodologies, and with the right backup plans, so that whatever resolutions you make right now, whatever plans you make right now, they don't just fizzle out in February, but same time next year, when I'm helping you prepare for 2026, you would have achieved all that you have set your mind to achieve. And we're going to do that very beautifully together with a lot of coaching strategies that I share with my clients, that I use myself, and wisdom from Eastern scriptures, which is this time I'm taking a story from Srimad Bhagavatam, uh, the King Bharat Maharaj's story about how he set his vision, how he set his goals, how he did his best to achieve them, how he fell a little bit for some time, fell off track a little bit for some time, and how he got himself back. We're going to learn from that also. And we're going to incorporate all those lessons as we get together in planning our vision and our goals and our execution plan for 2025. So we're going to learn from stories, then we're going to have strategy, and then we're going to have some solutions around it. Yes. So I hope you all are enjoying it. I hope you all are here, ready with your pen and paper, with your ultimate focus, completely focused because you care about what you're going to do over the next 5 days with me. I'm planning each session to be around 30 to 40 minutes so that it doesn't take too much of your time. But sometimes the stories are really nice, and I may go a little bit, I may just fly a little bit with those stories because they're just so fascinating and there's so many lessons from each story there. But this is not just about lessons, this is also about making your strategies, and this is also about making an execution plan. And we're going to add to that layer by layer, step by step, every single day. So don't miss it. Save the link wherever you're watching me. Save the time on your calendar, and you'll also have the replay links available, but they'll only be available for a short time. So they'll be available till December. We end this from on December 27th, and I think the replay links will be available till December 29th. And why am I doing that? Because I really want you to focus right now and not like postpone this for another time. I mean, there's so many things you've signed up for that we don't end up doing. They're all part of our wish list, and we don't end up doing. But I really want to help you focus, zone in, zoom in, and focus and get it done this year and get it done over the next 5 days. Make your plan. Yes, so without further delay, I am now getting ready to share slides here with you. And this is New Year, New You, Day One. So we're going to start your 2025 vision today. And today's topic, Day One's topic is 2025 vision starts here. Plan your best year yet. So you're going to learn vision planning strategies today. I know we all make these vision boards, and we write, and like I'd gone to somebody's home recently, um, and they had this fantastic vision board. I'm just trying to adjust my desktop so that I only see the things that I need to see here, and I'm not distracted. So they had this like beautiful vision board that they would see every day. Yes, there is value in making a vision board and putting your wish list out there and seeing it every day, because then somewhere it's bringing in some intentionality also, but that's not enough. Your vision needs to be backed by action. Vision is sankalpa, according to the Sanskrit words, right? It's your ichha shakti, it's your desire, right? But it has to be backed with karma, it has to be backed with action, it has to be backed with kriya shakti, right? So ichha shakti has to be backed with kriya shakti, with action, in order to make it happen. So and there's a lot that happens between the ichha, the desire, the vision, and the action. for it to be successful, and you're going to learn some of those principles also. Yes. So let me get to the next slide here and see where we are at. So there is a massive opportunity ahead for all of you, and the question is, are you ready? Are you prepared? Are you ready to grab all that's meant for you, all that's possible for you with both hands? Are you ready to give yourself a fresh start in spite of all the failures you may have had, and in spite of all the scatterbrained behavior, the chaotic, clumsy behavior you may have had in the past, where you've not been able to follow through and not been able to do things? Are you ready to give yourself a fresh start? And I'd like you to have some compassion for yourself. A lot of what work I do is based on a lot of self-love and self-compassion, is because a lot of times you want to do a lot of things, but you're not able to do it because you're in a certain stage of life, and that demands action for the deliverables for that stage of life. So you're not able to do certain other things that you want to do, and you keep cursing yourself, I'm useless, I don't do things, I don't follow through, yeah, but it's not that. Sometimes it's just the stage of life you're at or the situation you're in. Yes. So we're going to talk about that today also. And are you ready to stay on course? Right, it's like we make these massive goals and we make these lofty visions for ourselves, but then we're not able to stay the course. And why aren't we able to stay the course? And that's something we're also going to address in the strategy. uh, Various reasons for that. And then as you're going to do this 6 step strategy process with me to do your vision, you're going to learn a lot of these things. But the thing is, are you ready? Are you intentional? Are you showing up wanting to do these things, or are you showing up we're like, yeah, it'll be nice to have. Yeah, Namita is doing this free thing. She does it every year. Last year I did an overview of the Bhagavad Gita to help you intentionalize and prepare your consciousness for the new year. This year I decided that let's talk about new year new you in using Bharat Maharaj's story. And you'll be like, yeah, Namita keeps doing these things, I love to hear, and I feel good. But just don't listen to this if you just love to hear. Right? No, listen to this because you want to do it, because you want to execute it, and I'm here to support you in doing that. I'm your buddy, I'm your friend, trying hard to be. Yes. Now the thing is, are you ready? Are you excited? Are you like, yes, I'm gonna do it, or are you scared? There's like this bottomless pit in your stomach. Your legs are wobbly. You're like, I don't know what's gonna happen. It's like this palpitation, and like, I want to do this thing, but I don't know if I'll achieve it. I don't know if it's gonna happen, and things like that. Or this will be like yet another year. I'm gonna miss it. Yet another year that I won't be able to achieve this thing, and I'm all excited, but then everything fizzles out, and I'm not able to follow through. And like, oh my god, I've been doing this, repeating this pattern, year after year, and like there is no solution for me. Is that what's happening for you? Yeah. So that's something to consider. So consider, what is your mental state right now? Because a lot of what's your state right now is going to impact how you're visioning, it's going to impact how you're executing, and it's going to impact how your year is going to be. Right? So I want that state awareness for you, because if you're in this, oh my god, I'm a failure, I can't do anything, not much is going to happen. Or if you're like, gango, yes, I'm going to do it, yee, go go go, and I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, a lot of times, even then, a lot of things don't happen. What we need is, we need to be realistic about what's going on. And sometimes the fear is a good thing, because you're like, yeah, I tried it and it didn't work. But instead of staying in the fear, it's important to recognize why it didn't work and do your next iteration, 2025, better. Yes. But be aware of your state. Be aware of where are you coming from as you're doing this new year new you with me this time. Where are you coming from, and how are you starting out, and what are you doing? Right now, either way, effort is needed, and you don't want to be stuck in the same place in January of 2026. I'm not even talking about 2026, where you're like, man, I did, but I didn't reach anywhere. Right? And you're going to lose faith in yourself further. You're going to, further be unable to follow through. Right? So that's not where we want to be. We want to give ourselves some success, because even a little success in small things, it boosts our confidence a lot. and we're able to do a lot of bigger things after that, right? So small successes matter, and small successes are worth celebrating and are worth taking care of. Now, I'd like you to have one aha moment before we start and before we get into all this that's we're talking about, right? Like a lot of times these visions don't work, uh, and these plans don't work, and these resolutions don't work, is because it's like during this time you're not making resolutions, you're announcing wish lists. Whatever gaps you see in your life, you're like, yeah, I want to fill this up. So I just want to do all of this at once, right? And you're announcing wish lists, you're announcing your bucket lists. But the reason it's a bucket list is because it's stuff in the bucket that you keep picking one by one and you keep doing things, right? But we don't consider it as a bucket list. We think that, yes, all these pending items, all these areas of growth, I'm going to work on that and I'm going to make it happen. But they don't happen because even the way we've set them up for ourselves, the resolutions, is not correct. And growth happens in layers. Anyone who has been serious about growth and who has been able to achieve some growth in their life know that growth happens in layers, right? So even if I want to go the whole 9 yards with something in this year, it's not going to be possible because growth happens in layers. I'm going to be able to do one part out of it for some time, right? I may not be able to do like all 100% of it. I may be able to do like 10% of it. It's like you need to eat the sandwich in front of you. Can you eat the whole sandwich all at once? No, and that's what we try to do with our resolutions. Like, yeah, I want to do this, or like, let me eat the whole sandwich in one go. Gulp. It doesn't happen. You're going to puke it out, right? We eat it bite by bite. We eat it, we bite it, we chew, we swallow, we take a breath, then we take the next bite. And then we again, chew, swallow, take a breath, and then we take the next bite, right? So even growth, even your desires, even your visions that you're trying to achieve, all of that needs to happen in layers. Like if I look at it, in my business, there's a lot of things that that we need to fix in our automations, in our backend. There's a lot of things that we need to fix in our marketing, that we need to bring to a certain level. There's a lot of things that there's a lot more courses, a lot more books, a lot more things that I want to do, create courses, write books and things like that. And then I can make a resolution that, yeah, and I'm going to create these 20 courses and I'm going to write these 5 books. And I can put my entire wish list out there as a 2025 resolution, but it's not going to happen. Why? Because we're limited by time. And we're limited by our knowledge. We keep learning new things, and we have to, all of this is new stuff that I have to keep learning, I have to keep incorporating, then I have to see if it's working, then I have to add the next layer and the next layer and so on. So I'd like you to start with an aha moment here, which is that instead of focusing on the wish list and wanting to accomplish everything at once, think of all your resolutions as a wish list, right? And recognize that, yes, I will be able to achieve them, but it may not all happen in one year. It may take a few years, but I'm going to achieve it in layers, and I'm going to achieve it in steps and in doable steps. Yes. So let's get to the next one now. The next thing is that you will be successful. Another thing I want you to feel is that 2025 will be different. You will be successful because you're learning something, a proven method that works, something that has worked for me, something that I have shared and that has worked for my clients. And you will learn how to fix what doesn't work so that you can make it work. And you will also learn from the story of one of the greatest kings in India, which is Bharat Maharaj. Yes. So are you ready? Are you ready for the next 5 days to focus and do the work? Are you ready? Are you committed? How committed are you now versus like 6 slides ago when I was asking you about how committed you are, how gung ho you are, or are you fearful? Or are you ready? You're like, yes, I'm ready to follow the steps. How ready are you? I'm ready to honor my own commitments. How ready are you? I'm ready to be honest about what's possible for me. How ready are you? Right? These are some things that I want you to think about. And also remember, but when there is no plan, then your life becomes filled with a lot of unimportant stuff. But when there is a plan, you tend to be busier than always, but you end up achieving more. A lot of people that I talk to, a lot of my clients are like, yeah, I'm actually do better when I'm busy. I'm more productive when I'm busy. I actually get a lot more done when I'm busy than when I'm free. Right. And that's when their time is structured, their day is structured. They know how busy they are. They know how they have things back to back, and they're able to achieve them. So that's what we're going to do now. Going further here, why focus helps. And I love this. It's a little scientific, it's a little geeky, but not so complex, right? Like, so you have this concept of solar cookers, right? And then there is this concave reflector, the shape that you can see. And what happens is that all of that focuses, the sun's light focuses on that. And the way the concave reflector is set up is that when the light reflects back, it kind of intersects at a particular point. And that point of intersection of when it's reflecting, and that's called the focus point of the reflector, is where they put the solar cooker. And that's where there's maximum heat coming from the sun reflected through the concave mirror, and that's where there's maximum heat, and that's when the food gets cooked. So similarly, what is your focus, right? And when whatever you focus on is going to get cooked, is going to grow, is going to get transformed, right? And therefore focus is very important. And focus helps you manifest in life. All of us who think law of attraction, vision boarding, and all, yes, all those things are good, because when you're focused, you end up channelizing all your mind energy and everything in achieving that. And then you're also supporting it with action. As I said, desire, ichha shakti, which is supported by kriya shakti, which is supported by action. And that's important. So let's start with the story of someone, a great king who ruled for many, many years, who ruled for 10 million years, um, India. And his name was King Bharat. And I may refer to him as Bharat Maharaj because that's how I refer to him, and that's how I've learned the story. Yes. So he was a son of Lord Rishabdev. Not Lord as in like the Lord title given by the British Queen, to people who were subservient to her. No, this is the Lord himself. Lord Rishabdev is a plenary incarnation of Lord Vishnu. So he was a son of Lord Rishabdev, and he was handed over the kingdom by Lord Rishabdev to rule. And this king, Bharat Maharaj, he ruled his subjects as guided by his father with the affection of a father, right? So his father guided him that you must treat your subjects, your people in your kingdom, even the animals and everyone, as your own children. And Bharat Maharaj did that fantastically. He played the role of the king in the mood of a father, and he really nurtured his subjects, took care of them, and ruled wonderfully. He was married to a very beautiful lady, and her name is Panchajani, and he had 5 children, 5 sons. And it's said very poetically that he ruled on behalf of the Lord, and the time span was 1,000 times 10,000 years, which is 10 million years. So he ruled 1,000 times 10,000 years, which is 10 million years, and he ruled on behalf of the Lord. Now, if you look at the dynasties of the past, I mean, and like nearer history, like this is like many many thousands of years ago, the King Bharat Maharaj's story. But if you look at like histories nearby, like, and I'd written a very nice article on this, which is about leadership as trusteeship, because I'm a leadership and life coach. So I write a lot of different things to help me shape my own thoughts and to go deep into my own understanding of things. I write for myself and then I end up serving others through it. Is how leadership is trusteeship. Because, like, if you look at, I love visiting museums when I'm in different places. And the reason I like going to those museums is because I end up learning so much about the culture of the place. Yes. And like a few museums have like really stood out for me. One is the palace in Udaipur in India. The second is the I don't know how to say it, and now it's even a meme word, but it's the Doji Palace in Venice, Italy, and also the King Rama's Palace in Bangkok. right? These are some beautiful palaces that have like really left an impression on my mind, because it's helped me understand the history of those dynasties, and what they stood for and what they believed in and things like that. And in all three places I saw that King Rama, he didn't consider himself as a king in Bangkok in that dynasty, but they ruled on behalf of Lord Rama. Yes, that's what they did, right? Similarly, the Doji Palace, if you go there in Venice, it's beautiful. It's a very beautiful structure, and it looks very like magnificent when when you're taking pictures from afar and things like that, and it's by the water. So when you go there and you look at all the very opulent chambers and the opulent silverware and all their dresses and so many things, but when you go to the king's chamber, it's very very simple. uh, and then I had the translator on, or maybe I had a guide, I don't remember, but I think I had a handheld translator audio guide on. And there it said that the king lived a very simple life. He would wake up at like 3 a.m., be very frugal even in how much bath water he used, and how many servants he had for himself. And then he would spend like 2 hours in prayers early in the morning, something like what in India we do, the Brahma Muhurat sadhana. Yes, and he would spend that because he would pray to the Lord for empowerment and direction so that he could rule on behalf of the Lord. Yes, so that's what he did. Now, and similarly, I saw it in Udaipur also, where if you looked at like one thing that really left a mark on me was the Queen's chambers, where she was where like it was pretty simple compared to the opulence they had, that great kingdom had. And then the queen was always like, she had this like great kitchen and utensils and things like that, and she was constantly cooking in service to the Lord, right? So all of these different great dynasties, they ruled on behalf of the Lord, and so did King Bharat Maharaj also, right? And over the course, he was constantly meditating on the four-handed Vishnu form and acting on behalf of the Lord and ruling his kingdoms and subjects. And he had cultivated this over 10 million years. 10 million years of focus on duty, focus on his spirituality, and focus on cultivating that God consciousness and doing every activity as a service to the Lord. Yes, so that was his consciousness. And he had cultivated his vision was that at the end of his life, towards the later years of his life, he would give away everything to his, distributed amongst his subjects and his children, and he would leave. He would renounce the whole kingdom, and that was the way of the world, where you renounce active duty and active life, and you retreat within, and you go deeper into your spiritual life, and you perfect yourself. And that's what King Bharat Maharaj did, where he was perfecting himself. And he left the ashram. I mean, he left the kingdom and he went to the Pulahash, Pulaha Ashrama near the Gandaki River. And I believe this is in Nepal. And the Gandaki River is where you get the beautiful Shaligram Shilas, where in the river the stones are carved naturally by the living entities over there. And they're in beautiful forms that represent and remind us of Lord Vishnu. Yes. So that's where he resided, decided to stay there, and he decided to focus the remaining part of his life in devotion to the Lord. Now, when you see some of his activities as they're described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and I'll read the verses, there are two verses I've picked up, is that in the gardens of Pulaha Ashrama, Maharaj Bharat lived alone and collected a variety of flowers, twigs, and tulasi leaves. He also collected the water of the Gandaki river, as well as various roots, fruits, and bulbs. So he was living a very austere and a very simple life. And then with these, he offered food to the Lord first, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudev, and worshipping him, he remained very satisfied. So imagine you're the king ruling for 10 million years, a massive kingdom. You're able to renounce everything and you're able to completely focus on the Lord. And that he's able to do that because of the preparation of his consciousness over so many years. It's not that one fine day he decided, oh, it's 2025 and I'm just going to renounce everything and that's my goal and I'm just going to do it. No, he didn't do it like that. He knew this is his vision and he prepared himself for it. And therefore, he was able to execute it so beautiful. He was able to renounce, he was able to go to the ashrama, and he was able to focus completely on the Lord. And they say that in this way his heart was completely uncontaminated, and he did not have the least desire for material enjoyment. You see how purified he was. And all material desires vanished. And in this steady position, he felt full satisfaction and was situated in devotional service. So his goal was, I want to go and I want to achieve the ultimate aim of life, which is to go deep in my spiritual consciousness, to develop a deep relationship with the Lord, and to come out of the cycle of birth, disease, old age, and death. And look how close he was. And then it's just a few more, I'll just read a few sentences from this. That naturally his love for the Lord increased more and more and melted his heart. And there were ecstatic symptoms that were manifesting in his body, which symbolize somebody with a very high quotient of devotion. And at the same time, his heart, which was like a lake, which was filled with the ecstatic love for the Lord, right? So this is somebody completely focused. Now, how do you get there? How do you get to this stage where you're completely focused and you're completely doing everything, where you're focused on the Lord, you're completely focused on the goal, and nothing can waver you? How do you get to that stage? And when you look at Bharat Maharaj, it's a life of preparation focused on that vision, as I've described to you. All his life he has been doing this. He's done a lot of charity, he's done a lot of, his own spiritual practices every day, ruling continuously in consciousness of the Lord, always thinking about the Lord, in being one in consciousness with him. So it's like he's preparing, and therefore now it looks like he's doing it easily, right? On the other hand, we try to do some things but we're not preparing for it, and then we're like, why am I not achieving anything? Because you're not prepared for it. And now, rather than thinking whether I'm achieving or not, think about, how well am I preparing myself for it? Yes. So he was able to come to this very high stage because of a lifetime of preparation. And as we go over his story over the next few days, you're going to see that even he wobbles a little bit. He loses momentary focus, even at that very high stage. And then how he pays dearly for losing that momentary focus, and how he has to, really go down. And then he has to, with muster in a lot of energy and a lot of courage and a lot of focus and determination again, to come back up again. So it's not easy, to stay focused and everything. And I want you to have compassion for yourself. But at the same time, it's not impossible. And therefore, we have these stories so that we can learn from them, right? And therefore, we do these 5 day lives so that we can, make these strategies and we can grow together. Yes. So now I'm concluding with Bharat Maharaj's story today, and I'll continue his story over the next few days. And I'm switching gears now, where I am now talking about your strategy for visioning 2025 for yourself. Yes. So now we're going to talk about 6 steps that you can follow, where you can have a solid vision and the ability to execute like Bharat Maharaj did. Of course, he had like 10 million years he's been preparing. Uh, we don't have that much time, but we have a few days. We still have like 8 days until New Year, and we still have a runway where we can prepare, we can plan, and we can do it right. Yes. So now we're going to switch over to some strategies for visioning 2025 for you, and we have about 6.6 steps here, and I want you to get ready, right? So the first step is, you can write down something called as the grand vision. That's the first step. And the first step is the grand vision, which is creating a grand vision for the 6 areas of your life, right? So I run a program which is called as a Self Mastery Academy, and that's basically a life coaching program, where we coach people in their growth. And as a part of that, that signature method that I have developed there, I've identified that there are 6 important areas of a person's life. Yes, which is their own self, their soul, who they are, their needs, feelings, all those things, what they want to do, what their purpose is, and things like that, right? Then there is relationships, very important bucket of life. Most of the emotions and difficulties are around relationships, right? That's what people experience, and that's where a lot of help is asked for from us. right? So there's relationships, then there is your career. Now some of us, we are trying to grow in our leadership roles, some of us are trying to grow in our individual contributor roles but still be leaders, some of us in our community efforts, some of us in our social efforts, some of us in being, providing leadership to our children, to our family, like that, right? So there is some career for all of us, even if there may not be a career, like some of us may not be working, but there is a career aspect to our lives, right? And then there is the wealth aspect, the financial aspect to your life, to manage your finances, to take care of them, to make sure everything is done, because when your finances are in place, you're able to live peacefully without stress, right? Your basics are taken care of, your needs, your luxuries, everything, wants are taken care of, and then you're able to focus on other things in life. Yes. Then your wellness, your health, your own sleep, your body, your functioning, all those different things, right? That's important too. And then there is spirituality, right? Bharat Maharaj, like his, what we're talking about is like his goal that we're talking about, that we're referring to, is the spiritual goal that he had, and how wonderfully he achieved it, like how wonderfully he got there to the ashram, and he started living that life, and he was operating at such a high platform. Yes. So that is one aspect of life. But as you are living these uh, you know human lives as spirit souls, but you have all of these different things going on, it's important to focus on these six areas of your life and write down your grand vision for each. What is it that you would like yourself to be like? I would like to be a sage of the steady mind. I would like to be unaffected by anyone. I would like to be happy every single day. Or I would like to have a better handle over my emotions. So what is that goal for yourself? Now, what is your goal for relationships? Now, there's so many relationships. Okay, let me focus on my parents, my in-laws, my spouse, my kids. Let me start there. And within these, let me start with like a few people and like start building a great relationship with them. Oh, I have to maintain relationships at work too. Oh, these are the struggles I'm having there. Okay, let me take that and let me make a vision around, like what type of relationships do I want to have, right? So you could have a grand vision for each of these different areas of your life, for your relationships, career, wealth, spirituality, wellness, all of these things, right? You can write down your massive, big wish list, your grand vision of how you want to be. So you can take a piece of paper and you can write down these six areas of your life, and your grand vision for each of them. So that's step one, right? I'd love to hear how you all are doing on that. Um, I'm seeing there are some things in chat also. Yeah, I see some people have joined live. So yeah, Pooja G and Banak Nidhi G, thank you so much for joining in. And I hope this is being helpful to you. Yes. So this is step one. Step two is time available. A lot of times we're like, yeah, I have this grand vision and I'm going to go and execute it and I'm going to go and achieve it and this is what I want to do. Remember, that's your grand vision. That's not what's possible right now for 2025. Yes. That's your grand vision. And to understand what's realistic to take from that grand vision bucket list and to make it happen in 2025, you need to look at the amount of time you have available, right? And so for each of these six areas of your life, I want you to write down. So grand vision is done. Now we're talking about time available. Yes, step two. For each of these six areas of your life, I want you to write down all the different activities you do in a day or a week in those areas right now, not connected to your grand vision, but everyday responsibilities, everyday things that you have to do, and how much time each of those take. Because when you do this exercise, I have seen like jaw drop moments with people. They're like, I actually have no time. I have no time to do anything. So then, so does that mean you give up on your 2025 goals? No, then you figure out, like you juggle around things and you move things around and you figure out how do you make time for it, right? So write down all your daily and weekly activities for the six areas of your life that currently you're doing and how much time it takes, right? Because I want you to be realistic as you're making your goals for 2025. Yes. Now, I had this one person who had reached out to me many years ago, and he was like, I need to do these certifications in my, for my technology. Um, And then if I do that, then it'll help me in my career, but I'm just not able to do it, and I want your help to help me get to do it. So then I do this exercise with a lot of my clients. And what I saw is that I think he was in the business space, but he wanted to like become like a tech leader also, because that would help him in his business space. But it was really not a great, like massive requirement in the job. But he felt that it would help him execute things better. And and then he was like, I said, yeah, write out everything. And then he had like negative time. Like there were so many other tasks that were of priority that he wasn't able to execute, and he actually had no time to do these new certifications, etc. Like his next year was completely packed. And I try to bring it realistically to him that, hey, you don't seem to have the time. So why are you like beating yourself up over the years for not doing the certification? Can you be compassionate to yourself because you had no time? And he just couldn't understand that concept. And it took me a while to help him understand that, because for him it was like, I should be able to do it. I should be able to do it. I said, yeah, but let's be practical here. Let's find time. Let's make time happen. Let's juggle things around. No, I can't juggle anything around. All of these are extremely important. So he was somebody who was trying to hit everything at 100%. And if he wasn't hitting something at 100%, he thought he was a failure. But that's not going to work. And finally, we were able to get him to that understanding. But if you're trying to be 100% in everything and add more to it, it's not going to work. Something has to give. And how do you decide what has to give is by step number three. And step number three is, what is my priority right now? I may want to go and visit all the holy places right now, like yesterday. But at the stage of life I am in, with maybe I'm just beginning my married life, or maybe I have like middle school and high school children, or children about to go to college, and I'm trying to like make all like keep all of that focus and keep all of that going. So I don't have time for holy places, but then I'm going to keep cursing myself that I can't go to those holy places. Or I have a goal that I have like toddlers at home, and I have a goal that I must get a promotion this year, and I must grow at the same rate as I was growing as when I was single. Doesn't work that way. Yes. So recognizing what your current life priorities are and what stage of life you are at is very important. Now, stage of life, I alluded to a little bit here. I'd also like try to point to finances here, right? Because in stage of life, also in terms of finances, there are different stages. You're in the survival stage, like, oh, can I make my rent? Can I, will I be able to get the groceries or not? Right, when you're starting out in life. And then the next stage is that, okay, you survived, but now you're saving. You're not like worrying about whether I'm going to get that food or not, or whether I'll be able to make the rent or not. But now you're like, okay, I need to save. I need to save for the rainy day. I need to save for my children's education. I need to save so that I can buy that house. I need to save so that I can pay that mortgage off. Right? You're like in that exhausting saving stage. And then you want to like, you don't have time to enjoy or do things, right? Your bucket list may be to travel everywhere, but you're still like in the surviving stage. And you can keep killing yourself that, oh, why is this not happening? But the point is, that's the stage of life you're at, and you will eventually get out of it and get to the next stage, right? So recognizing this even financially is very important. So based on the current stage of life you're at, right, identify which of those six hold greater importance and which are critical, right? So if you're like raising a family right now, then maybe your relationships and your wealth and career and some of these may be of higher priority. Doesn't mean you're neglecting the others, but these are going to take a bulk of your time, and the other things will be on, but they'll be on the burner. They'll be on the lower flame, right? The more attention will be on these in the burner with the higher flame on. Yes. So recognizing the priorities and the current stage of life you're at, right? Like some of you may be responsible for aging parents. Yes. So you're taking care of relationships, and like you're focused on relationships and wealth. So sometimes your career may take a backseat, or your own bucket list and your own desires and aspirations and travel and all may take a backseat, right? So you all the balls are not going to keep juggling, right? You have to choose few and juggle those. So recognizing this is very important as you're visioning, as you're deciding your goals and things like that. So priority and stage of life, and which stages are critical right now. Some of you may be building a career and moving from director to VP, because that's very important, right? Or you're busy in a deliverable at a project. In these operate even in the short term, right? So, okay, in the short term, for the next 3 months, my career is going to take like a massive priority. So my social life will take a backseat, right? So we're constantly juggling and constantly doing these things, and we have to be flexible as we flow through life, because nothing is set in stone, and you can't make things set in stone because none of this is under your control, right? So after step three, which is you've identified your priorities, the next thing is now go back to the wish list you wrote down in step number one, right? Now go down and write down the wish list you wrote in step number one, and you need to pick the top items from those areas, right? And prioritize based on step number three, which is which areas are important and which need more time and the amount of time available, right? So just to do a little bit of a recap here, so you're not all, so that I'm making sure I'm supporting you well here, is that we wrote the grand vision, then we wrote down amount of time available currently for us. We wrote down about the stage of and priorities of life, like that need our attention. Now we're going to pick things from step number one, items that we want to bring in this year. We can't take everything because time is limited and because there are priorities and stages of life in action. So we're going to take some of them and we're going to prioritize them. We're going to add them to 2025. As I said, development happens in layers. Yes, so you're going to pick some and you're going to add them to 2025. And this is something that nobody teaches you. This is something that nobody talks about, but it's very important. It's assess the current preparation. So you've identified the items you want to bring to 2025 based on the time available, the stage of life, and your wish list. But it's not going to happen immediately, right? Because you'll be like, yeah, I need to run every day. Example, that's your goal. That's something you want to achieve in 2025, your grand vision, right? Part of your grand vision, your wellness, in the wellness bucket of your life. Yeah, but to be able to run every day, the preparation runway is needed, which is, do you have running shoes? Do you know where you're going to run? Do you have the proper clothes in order to run? Do you have that water bottle you need to go? Do you have a plan? Where in your schedule are you going to fit that running every single day? Are you going to run at the gym? Okay, if you're going to run at the gym, then do you have a gym membership? No, I'm going to run at home. Okay, then do you have a treadmill? All of this is a lot of preparation runway that we don't account for as we're making our resolutions. And sometimes the preparation runway just takes a couple months to get all of these things in place, right? Now, I may like the example that I was sharing with you, which is about this person who wanted to do those certifications and he wasn't able to do. He just didn't account for any preparation runway. And like, okay, like, you need to get some way in which you allocate time, like, which website are you going to do the online course from so that you can learn and then you can be prepared for the certification. Then planning time, moving things around in your schedule, sitting down thoughtfully thinking about everything and making it happen. um, that guy was sleeping like 3 hours every day, and I don't know why he was killing himself with like, I need to do more. Yes. So again, it was a wish list, but it may not be possible in like yesterday, right? Like everything has to be built in layers, and we want to be thoughtful and mature as we're doing things. So what is the preparation runway for each of these things? Now, say you want to get on a weight loss diet, right? And you're like, yeah, I'm going to eat smaller portions, and like, and say you need to maybe get bowls with smaller portions, or you need to get some junk out of your house, or you need to uh, learn how to cook with smaller portions, and for that there's a learning curve and there's a time and a preparation that's needed over there, right? So I'm just giving you some examples, but I think you get the drift here, that every new thing that you're trying to do has a preparation runway. Now, as you're planning It's not just your wish list, it's not just, what's possible and what stage of life you're in and how much time you have, but it's also about the preparation runway. And a lot of times we get frustrated, we make resolutions on 31st and we don't account for the preparation runway, and then we're like still preparing till like February and we're like, I achieved nothing, and then we give it up, and then we just give up, and then we're like frustrated with ourselves and we do nothing, right? So assess the current preparation that you have right now. Bharat Maharaj had a long preparation runway. He was constantly meditating on the Lord, 10 million years, ruling in that way. So when he switched, he was able to do it. And he was able to seamlessly, be in that ashram and meditate and, do all those things. What does your preparation runway look like? Or you need to pick some other items from that wish list and put these on, on the other side, but for the ones for which you are already like, you've gone through the preparation runway, right? And now it's a matter of execution, right? So think about these things also, and like nobody teaches this to you, but this is very important. Nobody talks about it also. Yes. And then there is set timelines, right? We're like, yeah, day one, I'm going to start doing yoga. Or day one, I'll finish all those certifications. So, or okay, the preparation runway ends on January 30th, then February 1st, I should be done. I should be on track. I should be able to, like, do this every single day. But it doesn't work that way, right? So there's a preparation runway, then there's an execution runway also, right? As you start executing something new in your life, it takes time for you to learn how to do it, right? So like right now I'm terribly jet lagged because I've just come back from India. I'm in Seattle, and when I was in India, like I have my car there, and it's a tricky parking. It's great to have parking in Mumbai city, um, and as my brother says that, you know it's not just your parking that's tricky. The entire building has tricky parkings if you have a look at it. And I'm like, yeah, I always feel everyone else's parking looks easy, but no, everyone's parking is difficult, and so is mine. Now I had learned it is an extremely tricky parking, but with that execution runway, and like doing it over various iterations, I had learned how to like back the car in one smooth shot and then go out, and like everyone would marvel at like how well I did it. But now when I went back after 8 months and I was trying to get my car out, I had forgotten that execution steps, right? And I had to relearn it over 3 days. Of course, this time it was much faster, but I had to relearn it over 3 days of how to do it well. And then I was able to back it as smoothly and leave. And my brother was like, "Yeah, you're amazing," because he was trying to drive my car so that it was running, and not just sitting pretty for 8 months and get spoiled. So like he was like, "Oh, your parking is really difficult to get it out," but I said, "No, like once you figure it out, it's easy." So similarly with your resolutions, you need to give yourself some time. Preparation runway. You also need some time for execution runway, right? To learn how to do that thing efficiently in a way in which that works for you, right? Now, I've given you a parking example. It could be about learning a new hobby, it could be about exercise, it could be about how you show up at work or how you do your speeches at work, your executive presence, the leadership brand that you're trying to develop, how you connect with people, how you show up with them, how you touch their lives. There's a lot that you need to do as leaders, right? So it takes time to learn that. So now when you're making your plan for that particular resolution, and I'd call it vision and goals, you need to make time for the execution runway as well. And then after the execution runway, you need time for stability, right? So once like I've learned how to park, then and not learned how to park, but get my car out of the parking, uh, and I give up after some time, I'm going to forget, right? So I need to give myself some time to keep doing that repeatedly so that I become very stable, right? And not just in that, but even your whole routine around whatever new activity you're adding, your family around whatever new activity you're adding. Everyone needs to start feeling stable and like start, everything needs to stabilize around that new thing that you're introducing. And a lot of times we don't plan and we don't account for any of these things. And because we don't do that, our resolutions fall flat. right? So set timelines that, okay, my execution runway will take so much time, my preparation runway, my stability runway, before you can add the next goal in your wish list in your 2025 plan. You see, so you may have identified 5 things you want to do in those 6 buckets of life, but you start with one thing at a time. Take one, do the preparation, execution, stability, then add the next one, then add the next one, and then add the next one, and do the preparation, execution, stability for each of them stages. So write down the timelines for these, one thing at a time. And the next is, I think we're good. So we have these 6 steps that we talked about so far. We um, we are working on these grand vision, right? These are the 6 steps, 6 execution steps that we've talked about, the 6 areas of your life. Identify all that you want to do in these 6 areas of your life, the time available that you have right now. You're already busy with those 6 areas of your life. Over and above that, what time do you have, or how you can move things around or make certain things efficient so that you can add more to it. The third is the priorities and the stage of life you're at. Like, what are your current important priorities based on your age and stage of life, right? And focus on that. And in the Vedic system, we call it the Varna and Ashram, depending on which ashram you're in, whether you're in a bachelor or single life, or whether you're in a householder life, or you're in a senior citizen life, or you're in a renounced life like Bharat Maharaj, right? So, which stage of life you're at, your activities, your priorities will be different. So don't compare your priorities and activities at your stage of life with somebody else's stage of life. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. So that's why it's important. And then after you've done these 3 things, then pick the top items of from each wish list area based on the time available and the priority. Assess the current preparation you have. How prepared are you? Or pick the ones for which you're already prepared, because there's a preparation runway, there's an execution runway, there's a stability runway. And based on that, you're going to make timelines. I hope that today's session has been helpful for you. We talked about these 6 steps so that instead of having, these failures that we've had so far in executing our plans, and I'm sure we've only done step 1 as a part of our planning. We've never done step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or we've done them, but we've not done them really well. And then because of that, we fall flat, right? So I know that when you follow these 6 steps work for me. These six steps have worked for my client. Let me tell you one thing. Because I follow these 6 steps myself, I don't fail so much in the execution of my New Year resolutions because I'm being very realistic in what is possible for me and I'm taking it on. Yes. So therefore, don't make your wish list and your desire list is your resolution list. From your wish list and desire list, you pick a few items and you add it to your resolution list. Yes. So, and happens in layers. So these were some of the things we talked about, and we used the vehicle of Bharat Maharaj's wonderful story to learn. And we saw how focused he was and how he got there. But tomorrow, we're going to learn about how he got like distracted in his focus, in spite of being at such a high level of focus and determination. In sports language, he kind of lost his game a little bit, and then how he went down and how he had to suffer, and then how he had to bring himself back up, and then how he, when he got himself back up, how he protected himself from all distraction, is what is going to be the remaining 4 days with me. And in each of these, we're going to learn about how tomorrow we're going to talk about how do you protect yourself from distractions. Then later we're going to talk about how do you bring yourself back up when you've lost the weight. Then we're going to talk about how do you stay, when you bring yourself back up, then how do you stay focused at that stage? And then how do you make sure you finish strong? Because it's not just about preparation, execution, stability, it's about sustaining that level and finishing strong at the end of 2025. Bharat Maharaj did finish strong, but it took him 2 more lifetimes to do that. You don't want it to be 2 more lifetimes for you. And therefore, I encourage you that you do these steps. And all of this is part of my promotions for the beautiful, beautiful Self Mastery Academy that we run, which is now back in its original form, where we have added back the group coaching uh, and the one on one coaching models to it. We were doing it separately, but not like kind of doing it with Self Mastery Academy. Self Mastery Academy had become only bronze with only access to courses and community. But now we've added back the gold and the platinum plus tiers. Platinum is coaching with Teamies coaches, and platinum plus is coaching with me. And we have some special bonuses and special offers available. So for those of you who are interested in those offers, can send us an email, like because you have been receiving emails from us, so you know how to reply. And for those of you who are watching right now, can send us a message here if you're looking for support. Because while you have the solution, you have the strategy, uh, you need support in executing and in staying through, because there's going to be a lot of questions as you execute. And for that, you need to get that support that you need. And for those of you who are interested in getting that support and in joining the Self Mastery Academy to get that group coaching and one-on-one coaching and all that support you need to make 2025 your year, do you want to put down like two more lifetimes, or miss out on many many years like you have been missing out, or lose out on lifetimes like we see in Bharat Maharaj's story? If you don't want to do that, and if you really value your time, and if you really value your goals and aspirations, then you will message us on this WhatsApp to know more about what is up on offer for the Self Mastery Academy, with the group coaching and the one on one coaching programs, and the special bonuses and special offers available as a part of entering 2025. So, see you tomorrow at the same time, and follow these 6 steps, because tomorrow we're going to build up on what we learned in day one. Yes. So make sure you've done the steps and make sure you're ready for day two tomorrow. So see you and bye bye.